Hello and welcome everybody, my name is the IT guy, and in this video we'll have a look at how to set up a virtual machine on AWS. So AWS is the Amazon Web Services, it's the Amazon equivalent to Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Services or Google Cloud Platform. And on this platform it's actually also pretty easy to set up a virtual machine, but we'll also go over how to set up SSH because that's going to be a little bit different when we compare that to those other two cloud platforms. So we are now greeted with this message over here. So AWS Management Console. This is of course the main console where you start everything. So we are going to go over to launch a virtual machine. It's pretty self-explanatory. We go over to launch a virtual machine. This loads up and we're going to select our operating system just like we would do with any other type of cloud platform. So in our case, we're going with Ubuntu Server 18.04 LTS. Let's select that and then let's choose our free tier eligible option over here. So if you did not know, every single cloud platform has this free tier option where you can try out their products for a full year. You get some credits here and there, so there are some things that are free tier eligible and those things will always be free within that year, but there's also some options that you have to pay for, but you'll get some credits to try those things out. But for now we are going with this free tier. This T2 Micro is the free tier and we're going with that. And then let's immediately go over to review and launch because we're going with all the default options over here. If you want to change a few things, you can go over to add storage and you can change the size of the volumes over here, but we're not going to do that. For me, I think 8 GB is plenty, so let's go over to review and launch and let's launch our virtual machine immediately. Let's click launch over here, and I was going to ask us to create a new key pair. And what are key pairs? Well, actually we used to in Microsoft Azure and in Google Cloud Platform, we provided our own public keys, but in this case we need to get a private key from AWS, and they have their own public keys that AWS will keep, and this way we are connecting with our private key which Amazon gives us. We're going to connect via SSH to them. So we're going to create a new key pair. Let's name this key pair IT guy. It doesn't really matter what's it named. We'll download the key pair and it will be stored over here. So I am going to immediately drag that over to the desktop over here. I'm gonna place this here for now so we can easily access it later. And now let's launch the instances, and this is going to take a while obviously, so we're going to go over to view instances. And as we can see, it's pending, so the instance state is pending. And while this is pending, we're going over to our .pem file over here because we're going to make some changes. Amazon wants you to change this file to make it so that only you can access it. And if you would be working with Linux, for example, it's very easy. You would actually just go over to that file. So in this case, it's cd desktop, and we would do something called the chmod 400, and then you would just do itguy.pem. So basically what chmod would do is it gives you read permissions on the current user only. So this is actually what Amazon wants you to do. It wants to make sure that the file, the public key file, is only readable by the user connecting with the PEM file. So that's actually why you need to do this. It's a security measure. But so for Linux it's pretty easy, but if you want to do that for Windows, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to click that file, we're going to go over to properties, and then we're going to go over to security, and we're going to go over to advanced, and then we're going to disable inheritance. That's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to say remove all inherited permissions from this object, and then we're going to click apply already. And then we're going to add ourselves as a principal. So we're going to give our username over here. We're going to hit OK. We're going to give ourselves full control. We're going to click OK. We're going to make sure that we're the only user in here. Let's click apply, click OK again, and then make sure that it actually went through, and it did went through, so it's good. And now let's go back into our cloud instance here, and we can see that's already running. Let's go over to our public IP and let's copy that. And now we of course need, well, let's copy that with Control-C. And now we need to make sure that we know the username of this instance. So over here, managing users, when we go over to the documents, we'll see that all of the different types of virtual machines will have different usernames. For example, if we would choose Amazon Linux, so AMI, we would see that the username is EC2-user. For CentOS, the username would be CentOS. For Debian, it will be admin or root. For Fedora, EC2. But we're looking for Ubuntu. So for Ubuntu, the username is Ubuntu. And since we set up a virtual machine with Ubuntu, we're going to use that username. So let's go over back to PowerShell. And let's do cd desktop again. And now let's connect. So we have to take this IP address over here, and we're gonna have to SSH -i, and then we're gonna declare our .pem file. We're gonna do Control-V to log in, and we also, of course, will need to specify a -l Ubuntu to make sure that it's connecting with the Ubuntu username. So that should be okay. We're gonna hit yes, and there we go. We have access to our virtual machine, and we can start typing stuff in here. So we can see that everything works, and we can see that we can do a sudo apt update, and we can see that it's grabbing all the available updates for the Ubuntu package manager. There's a lot of upgrades available, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to exit out of it. I'm going to exit out of here, and looks like our virtual machine has been set up. And from here on forward, it's the same thing. You can start building that virtual machine. You can start experimenting here and there. Maybe set up a LAMP stack, maybe set up a LAMP server. I have a video on how to set up a LAMP server. Amazon also has a very good guide on how to set up a LAMP server. So you can start experimenting a little bit with AWS and get to know it a little bit should you ever need it in the future. So this was just me showing you how to set up a virtual machine in AWS. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And if you did, please leave a like and a comment below. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.